Hey, I thought it was time that I put together a little process video for a project I'm working on called September Stories, where over each week for September, I have put together 5 prompts from which people are using this to sort of get some stories on some pages. So the story is the focus rather than the photos, and I'm working in one of our 6x8 everyday life albums. And what I've gathered are some photos here, and I printed them off on my Instax printer. So the focus, the prompt that I'm using for this one is smile worthy. And so I have sort of brainstormed on another piece of paper some ideas of things that I would want to include on a story or a memory about things that make me smile. And I sort of had pictures of my family and pictures of extended family and bits and pieces like that. And I thought, actually, I want to do just the everyday things, the little things, those things that when you are just going through everyday life and things get a bit mundane, that when you look at them, you can actually just sort of get a bit of a smile on your face or a smile inside, and it just helps to carry on. Or to do those everyday life things. So I've chosen 5 things, and then I went on and found some photos of those 5 things so that I could print them off and put them on this page with a bit of a story about them. So I chose the base paper has been cut down from the current season mix-ins. So it's sort of a yellow scallop because I decided I needed a sort of a happy background since I was thinking of things that make me smile. And I have just gone through my scrap bag from the last sort of wee while. You may recognise some of these papers from other layouts or fairly recent collections. I think a few of these were collections I used during lockdown. Here in New Zealand. So I've just chosen some papers that I want to back the photos with. And I also pulled out the word smile from one of the embellishment packages, and these hearts that I'm just placing here are part of one of the zip strips, I believe, from the current season's mix-ins. Now, while I was recording this, I had a FaceTime call from my daughter, which is about to come up, which sort of interrupted the flow of things, and here I am just readjusting the camera and trying to find all the bits and pieces again. So I had to have a bit of a chat with her, which was lovely to hear from her. Anyway, on the page, while I was chatting with her, I have added some lines from one of the Details or Story by Stacey stamp sets, and I've also added these little circles with some lines in it from one of the new Story by Stacey sets, which is quite cool. So I was just going to put a little note alongside each of the photos, and I grabbed one of the scrap papers here. It was kind of a grid pattern to stamp this a couple of times, and then cleaned it up on the stamp chamois just so that I have those spots, but that can go on top of the photos over on the right there. So 5 little spots for 5 little photos. So spot journaling is something I used to do quite a bit, and these little spots, I think, over the next year, while they're in our current catalogue, will definitely get a lot of use, if not well beyond this catalogue. So anyway, so just stamped those and then just trimmed around the edges of the stamps and placed them on the page. The other embellishment I've put on there that I didn't mention was some wooden hearts. So in the new catalogue, there are... when you can buy the wooden hearts, but you could also buy a packet of acrylic hearts, and I think they are a pink colour, or flamingo probably to be more correct. And so you can choose between both, with the idea that the wooden ones you can colour if you wish to. But I just liked that natural colour, and I liked how it tied in with the title Smile that was from one of the other wooden embellishment collections. So I'm just using the journaling pen here to do a quick note about each of these little spots. The other stamp that's on there is It's the Little Things, which is one of the new Story by Stacey stamps as well. And because this was about the little things that make me smile, it ties in quite nicely with this layout. So I'm just adding my journaling here that I have sort of bullet pointed down. So now I'm just constructing them into sentences as I pop it onto this page. The bottom right corner there, I looked at it quite a bit, trying to decide whether I want to put something there or not, but I actually decided I quite like that little bit of white space, that negative space that's there. It somehow just added a balance for me, and I quite liked that. So here the page is pretty much done, but I'm just going to play around with getting it all stuck down and getting the embellishments stuck on. Now, it's very handy to always have some spare tape runner. As I went to do the next photograph, it only did one strip, and then I had to refill the stamp roller as I was putting some of these down. So it only had a certain, they only have a certain amount of length in them, and it's worth always having some spares there ready to go should you need them. I also had a bit of a run-in with my glue. My liquid glass is just about finished, so it's at a point where I'm actually going to have to change it over and get a new one. See here, the runner ran out, and I thought I had one in the front here, but I had to go to one of my other containers to change it over. Now, I quite like these Tombow tape runners because they do come, you can get a refill for them. Although you're still throwing out a lot of plastic with it, it just feels a little bit better than throwing out the whole thing at the end of it. So here I am just replacing this. There's a little bit of a button that you push or slide, and the casing opens up, and then I like to do it where I can still see the one I'm taking out, see the position I took it out from, so that I can put the new one in just the right way rather than trying to figure out the jigsaw puzzle of it all. Anyway, there I go. I have a freshly working tape runner. So just a couple of stripes to get it running smoothly, and there it's ready to go. Make sure I stick the photo the right way up. Again, just sticking a couple of stripes on there, ready to stick it down. And then I'm going to have my next problem with my adhesive, where the liquid glass didn't really want to play the game. I had a similar run-in with it on Saturday night when I was scrapbooking with some friends, but it came right eventually. It seems to be, now that the bottle's getting really low, that I either need the adhesive right at the bottom ready to go, or not. So I tried poking the hole in again. I can see that it's there. I can see that the thing's clear, but I do just need to stop trying to squeeze the last drops out. So I ended up using my Tombow. It did need a little bit of pulling out of the white glue that was just kind of stuck in the top. But once I got that out, it stuck the wooden shapes down beautifully. So just getting those hearts stuck on, and then working on this other page and getting the base papers stuck down again on here. So the photos that I chose to put down as things that just make me smile on that everyday basis are my first coffee in the morning. My husband usually brings this to me, and it's a nice way to start the day. Our two grey cats that just seem to be an endless source of smiles on an everyday basis. One of them was just rolling around in a random dirt pile today, and it was like, what on earth is it thinking? And we still have no idea. It came inside rather dusty. And I have put down some of my makeup colours that I love using down there as well. Just putting these on in the morning, getting ready for work, just makes me smile looking at the colours and knowing that I'm putting something natural onto my skin. They are by World Organics, which is sort of a New Zealand company. And then up the top on the right hand side page, I've got my Norwex cloths, and I love using these because it's a case of just add water. I'm not adding lots of chemicals when I'm cleaning. And then the next picture, oh, what am I getting here? I'm getting out some of our gorgeous new flower embellishments. And the next picture over there is stationery. Now, I love using pretty highlighters and nice pens and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's a teacher thing or if it's a scrapbooker thing. Maybe it's just both. So I'm just sort of looking around and thinking, where am I going to put these different little flowers? Love the bright colours. I think I'm going to have to get a few more sets of these. So choosing some different colours and putting them around the page. A little bit of rhyme and reason. I'm just trying to look as I put them down for balance and odd numbers often as a bit of a design feature. And so I've found these little black, they remind me of asterisks, so I'm just popping them around the place. They've got a nice sort of boldness to them, which is quite cool. And there we have it, a page about things that make me smile, things that are smile-worthy on an everyday basis. And here's a shot of the Everyday Life album that they're in. Thanks for watching.